Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. In the not too distant future, on a timeline that I hopefully is an alternate one, there were no more lakes, no more rivers, ponds, streams, no fresh water of any kind except the occasional rain. All other water was salt, like the oceans, and the people and animals suffered greatly from the lack of drinkable water. What happened to all the fresh water, you ask? Well, it all started with the CEO of a mega corporation called Funky Foodstuffs. The name of the CEO was Kanu'gu, or Kanu'gu to his fans on the internet, or just KN to his board of sycophantic yes men. Kanu'gu had gone on to national television and proclaimed there is no fundamental right to drinking water, and that therefore he should be allowed to buy up all the water and sell it for a profit. Well, it so happens, even though this seems absurd, Kanu'gu managed to buy off all the politicians to get his way, and so then, using sophisticated flying water pump robots of his own invention, so-called pump bots, he drained all the lakes and rivers and other bodies of fresh water, carried it all up into space, and stored it in a colossal space station, a space reservoir in Earth orbit. So that way, only by buying water from him at inflated prices could people and animals get any water to drink. Such was the sad and dystopian state of affairs for a long time, until a strange twist of events changed everything. It all started when Kanu'gu was getting bored of living all alone in his ivory tower in space, and he decided he wanted a little novelty in his life. So he called a meeting with all his yes men and laid out his plan. Here is what I'm going to do, he proclaimed. I am going to stage a most bizarre creature contest in which all the most bizarre animals ever mutated will compete. And the prize will be an all-expense paid trip up to my wonderful space station. I will give them a tour of the facility, and then I will have them over for dinner. Whether I will have them medium rare or well done, I haven't decided yet. So, what do you think of my idea, guys? Terrific, KN. Amazing, KN. Right behind you, KN. You done it again, KN. And so the contest was announced, and the most bizarre menagerie of misfits assembled to compete. There was a two-headed snake, a one-antlered moose, a goose-billed platypus, a bald eagle with a toupee, a puritanical bonobo, a pagan praying mantis, and the world's only white raven. And because white happened to be Kanu'gu's favorite color, he immediately declared her the winner. On the morning of the launch of the rocket that would take Raven up into the space station, she was given a very small ration of water for the journey. She quickly lapped up all the water that she could fit into her bill, but she did not swallow it. Raven had a plan, and the plan depended on her keeping the water in her mouth until she met Kanu'gu. You'd think holding water in your mouth for an entire trip into space was impossible, but where there's a will, there's a way, and Raven had the will until at last he was on the space station face to face with Kanu'gu. Marvelous white raven, I welcome you, and to show my admiration, I will generously give you a very tiny few drops of water from my space reservoir. What did you say? Raven spat out some of the water so she could speak and said, I have no need of your water. I am filled up to the tippy top of my head with all the water I have drunk. He spat out the rest of the water for dramatic effect, and Kanu'gu said angrily, where did you get that water? I'm supposed to be the only one who has drinkable water. Where did you get it? Oh, from a special place I know of, Raven said. There is much of it there. Have you never heard of an ancient spacefaring race called the Nomai? Many thousands of years ago, they built a space station very close to the sun with a huge supply of fresh water on it. And now your rival, Erwin Muskox, has claimed all the water for himself. And he very generously gave me some. You seem surprised. You really didn't think you were the only one with a supply of drinking water, did you? Kanu'gu was furious at the idea that his rival might have drinking water that he didn't, so he immediately called an emergency meeting of his yes men. I will not be outdone by that money-grubbing, greedy ox, because of course it takes one to know one. You all agree with me? Terrific, KN, amazing, KN, right behind you, KN. You done it again, KN. So that night, Kanu'gu boarded one of his space shuttles and blasted off towards the sun. Seeing her chance, Raven flew quickly to the very depths of the space station. I don't have time to go into detail about how she got past all the security measures. Suffice it to say that she rallied all the workers on the space station to mutiny, and so they granted her admittance and access to all the controls for the space reservoir. And activating the pump bots, but this time running their programming in reverse, they drew up all the water from the space reservoir and carried all that fresh water back down towards the Earth's surface. Meanwhile, Kanu'gu flew round and round and round the sun, but could find no sign of the sun station because, of course, it didn't exist. However, Kanu'gu assumed that Erwin Muskox was deviously hiding it by some means of techie, high-tech cloaking device or something like that. Angrily, he picked up the phone and called his rival. All right, Muskox, where is it? Where's what? Your sun station, of course. The White Raven has told me all about your secret stores, and I intend to have it. The Raven has tricked you, you arrogant idiot. Can't you see that she lured you away from your station? Maybe so she could steal your water? Instinctively, Kanu'gu knew that Muskox must be right, although of course he wasn't about to admit it to him. He ended the call just in time to look up and see that his shuttle was flying directly towards the sun. Desperately, using all the skill of his youthful piloting days, he was able to avoid plunging into the inferno, but he was not good at astrophysics, and so like a slingshot, the sun's gravity shot his space shuttle, along with Kanu'gu and his yes men, out into deep space, never to be seen again, well, at least not for a very long time. Meanwhile, all the pump bots returned the liberated water back to Earth, and all the lakes and rivers and streams flowed again as they once did. And the people, inspired by Raven's cleverness and courage, rebelled against their corrupt politicians and installed new leadership that promised to forever after defend all the drinking water from corporate greed. And Raven, her mission accomplished, appeared on international television and declared, "People and animals of the world rejoice, for henceforth everyone will have plenty of water." Mr. Toastmaster.